let's see, trying to get the trading screens up for you. Give me just a moment. I don't have Chloe here, Chief of Staff, Technical Support, so kind of roughing it, trying to figure it out.
Joy starts simple, like how Lay's Classic starts with real, farm-grown North American potatoes. They've made their crisp potato chips salted to perfection since 1938. No artificial flavors or colors. For real moments with your favorite people, made over your favorite bag of chips. It's that simple. Real potatoes, real flavor, real joy. Lay's, America's favorite chip, established 1938. Tap the banner to learn more.
Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people, we wake up for the sweet rush of getting that warm, delicious breakfast right before it ends.
Start your morning at McDonald's, and for a limited time, mix and match 2 of your breakfast favorites for just $6, including a sausage McGriddle or a classic sausage McMuffin. Take time and order ahead in the app. Price participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer. See item at regular price.
The biggest classic rock hits do just that. They hit hard. And on today's classic rock hits, you'll find only the best in high-octane awesomeness. We're talking rock gods like Led Zeppelin. Yes.
Okay, hopefully you're looking at the Robinhood charts today. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a shot. And what I have up is the ES futures. We've got the SPX, which is the instrument we'll be trading. And then we've got the 15 minutes, we've got the 5 minute, and we have the 1 minute charts. We use the 15 minute SPX for trend and bias. It's what we call one of the larger time frames. Then we use the 5 minute to determine direction, commitment. We look at the retest, and then we use the 1 minute to base our entries on. As we proceed with our trading day, I will explain that in greater detail. Right now, what we're going to do is go ahead and get started with our pre-market technical analysis. So this is where I take a screenshot of what you're looking at and I put it in ChatGPT and I ask it for specific data based on current market structure. It is subject to change at market open if I notice that SPX is not following the roadmap. I'll update it at that point and to get a more accurate read on the structure of the market and the price targets of the smart money institutions, liquidity pools, and just where price is going to gravitate. All right, so we're going to take a moment to take that screenshot, put it in ChatGPT, then we'll go over our technical analysis. All right, we've got our first smart money roadmap printed for the day. I'll be going over that in just a moment. But before I do, I've got to read you the disclaimer and give props to God that this is a miracle. I'm able to share this with you, and I'm sharing this for informational purposes only. It's my own proprietary system as a result of my own research, and it is a strategy that I use in my own real account. While it's a principle-based strategy, the strategy is subject to change. By sharing my trading activities, it is not a solicitation from me to buy or sell securities for others. Trading does involve risk with possible loss of principal. Sharing my live trading sessions should not be construed as investment advice. With that being said, I am going to go over the Smart Money Institutional Roadmap. What we're looking at right now is a 36-point spread. Okay, so that means price has been recorded as moving 36 points in either direction, up or down. We make money in the up market and the down market with the iron condor. Just a little bit of information on the strategy of the iron condor is it's a range-based strategy. We place calls and puts above and below current price, and the idea is to close the trade at 25 to 30% profits. Statistics have shown that you win 9 out of 10 trades if your objective is 25 to 30% profit. We'll be looking at how to maximize that to where it's 9 out of 10 wins. And as we go, you'll pick up on how to and when to exit the trades based on support and resistance levels. You'll see the price moving into a support or resistance zone, and you'll see that it starts to bounce, or it becomes unstable as it's trying to make progress to that zone. And that would be ideal time to exit with profit because it may reject the zone. It may not accept the zone. However, the zone itself is a magnet and a target for smart money to do supply and demand. So it absorbs liquidity at that zone. We'll be talking more about that, and you'll gain a greater understanding as we proceed and as you continue to tune in. It's the same thing every day. It doesn't change. So regardless of if the market is up or down, bearish or bullish, the smart money institutions will target those zones, guaranteed. Okay, so with that being said, here we go. So at this point, the current reference price is 68.43. We have a developing range with the high being 68.67 and the low being 67.76. This defines institutional value envelope. So basically, price will be going between those 2 points. We're going to identify the VWAP line next. It's at 6843. That's the primary control level. So we are using the VWAP once market opens to determine if it's bullish or bearish. Okay, bullish above the VWAP line, bearish below the VWAP line. And so what that indicates to us is the target. So price is going to gravitate towards the target, which is one, the support level. Okay, so we're going to talk about the support level. We have support levels at 68.38, 68.20, 67.76, which is the bottom support level. And these will all be predicated on order flow. So the institutions will gravitate towards these support levels for orders if it's headed in that direction, the trend. Okay, but if it goes up, well, then we have the resistance levels. Okay, resistance levels on the upside is 68.58, 68.67, 68.90. And what we'll be looking at is acceptance or rejection at those levels. So if they're accepted, price will continue to expand upward. If they are rejected, you'll see a couple of tests, and then price will reverse back towards the VWAP line. Next comes the demand zones. The true demand zones are 67.76 through 68.05. Okay, that is where the institutions will buy. So they're looking to buy at a discount when buying. That's how they make profits. Again, their profits are for their clients, right? So the supply zone is at 68.67 through 68.95. That is where they will sell. So if price goes bullish, it'll go up, and then they will sell at a profit once price gets to the true institutional supply zone. Okay, now what that indicates to us is you'll see how that applies to placing your calls and your puts based on supply zones and the VWAP, based on demand zones and the VWAP. So we have two probabilities that we are working with right now. So we are waiting for the institutions to commit to a bias. Are they committing to bear? Are they committing to bull? Okay. And once we are able to get confirmation, which we will, they always show their hand and their direction, but it requires patience. So we don't make any moves until, as I tell some of our tribe, until we see the whites of their eyes. Okay. Next, we're going to take a look at liquidity clusters. So this is where the liquidity exists, and this is, again, where price will gravitate, because this is where the institutions can fill orders or sell at a profit. Okay. So the upside targets are 68.58, 68.67, 68.90. Those are the highest probability targets. However, there are downside targets: 68.38, 68.20, 67.76. You can mark this off on your chart or just take a look at what the liquidity targets look like. They look like a range straight across. We call it accumulation, we call it consolidation. However, those are targets of liquidity. It is where they buy and sell. Okay, they sell at a profit, they buy at a discount. So take a look at that, mark it on your chart, or make a mental note. Okay, we have a chop zone, which is 68.35, 68.55. Okay, this is where the iron condors thrive, is at these chop zones. I was recently reminded that is a great place to enter and the trades is during these chop zones. Definitely range bound activity, and price just stays within the ranges that the iron condors can benefit from theta. Time decay. So the longer we hold the iron condor, the more theta profits we get. We'll go deeper into what theta is. It's a Greek, it's one of the Greeks, as we say in trading. And for the iron condor, theta is money. Okay. So we're going to go into quarter one, 6:30 to 8. You can look for the developing range to be established. The VWAP does act as a magnet during quarter one. Quarter two, 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. This is all Pacific Standard Time. We can look for institutional expansion. So price will be expanding, and the highest probability of directional moves will be in quarter two. So we'll definitely see a commitment in quarter two to the direction smart money is going in. We avoid early trading unless there is absolute confirmation, because that's when a lot of fakes and take place. So yeah, I'm saying fakes, and they fake retail traders out. They get you trapped in a trade, and then price will reverse in the opposite direction. So we need confirmation. It requires patience and discipline, and to be avoided. Okay, so that's the objective during quarter one. And early quarter two is to watch out for traps and fake moves by the institutions. They are engineering and manipulating the market to trap retail traders. It's a fact. Okay, so in quarter three, we get most times a mean reversion. What that means is price will go in the opposite direction towards liquidity in the opposite direction. Okay, and they're headed towards a new target.
With the S&P 500 up 0.1%, the NASDAQ Composite Index up 0.1%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 0.1%. SPX and SPY update.
Okay, just got an update that the market is up right now. So we'll make our adjustment. It doesn't matter to us one way or the other. Again, up or down market, the iron condor will produce profits. We just need to pivot and make adjustments. Quarter four, final liquidity sweep takes place 12 to 1. The magnet moves towards VWAP are liquidity extremes. So price will either gravitate towards the VWAP or it'll go back to an extreme liquidity level, which means the high or the low, or some target, which will be able to define the probabilities as the day progresses. And which brings me to today's plan. As you can see, I've been restricted on Robinhood, so I used my maximum number of day trades. And so I am now trading on TradeStation. I don't have unlimited trades on TradeStation. I have 3. I used 2 yesterday, and I have 1 remaining. So I'm going to save that for the best trade of the day, which is the 12 to 1 trade. I'm able to get 100% profits out of that trade. Yesterday, during that hour, I made $1,000 in that hour. So I plan on doing the same thing today. The target and the goal is 1,500 in that hour, and then I will place an overnight trade. Now, for the overnight trades, the ranges are much wider based on the unpredictability of what happens overnight. It's a relatively safe trade because the markets don't move that much after the close. But again, the ES is 23 hours a day, so there will be some movement. However, not much. So I'll make the wings wider, place the overnight trade, and look to close it first thing Thursday morning. So with that being said, let's go ahead and wrap up the pre-market. And remember, the goal and the summary is to trade in the direction of the VWAP. Place the strikes beyond the supply and demand zones. That means your calls, if it's a bullish market, go above the demand zone. And if it's a put, they go below the demand zone. Okay. One of our tribe members mentioned like in the money and out of the money options, calls, and puts. We generally don't do in the money trading. That's very aggressive for the iron condor, and I prefer to play it a little bit more safe. We can discuss it in the future about placing in the money trades for the condors. They do produce high premium, high credit, but at the same time, it's a bit more stressful of a trade than I like. It gets tested. So when you place a condor in the money, an in the money condor will be tested by price and the institutions. Your trade will be read for a little bit, and the loss percentage goes up pretty high. I've had up to 200% red loss percentage from placing in the money trades. Most of the time, I'll say most of the time, they worked out because price does gravitate towards the VWAP. However, it took a while. And, the trades that I have lost have been in the money trades. And I've lost big trades and a lot of money from placing in the money trades. So I tend to shy away from those at this point. And we don't chase profits, we don't chase premium, we don't chase credit. It's nice when we get the 3-to-1 return, which is possible to do with minimal risk. We can minimize the risk sometimes, but most of the trades are going to produce 1 to 3. 1 to 2 is good on the return. Again, we're sacrificing the risk and with the profit. So we're sacrificing some of the profit, we're lowering the risk. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to not make entries inside the chop zones. Again, we can make the entry with trapping the chop zone in the middle, and that is a high probability trade. However, we're looking for A+ setups, and that is the objective of this stream, is to identify the A+ setups. So we're going to stick to the level tagging protocol, all right, which is critical for strike placement. We're looking for the A+ setup. As the VWAP gets tested, we're looking for confirmation as price goes along the VWAP. We'll see a bullish engulfing candle. That means a big green candle on top of the VWAP, followed by another candle that can hold above the VWAP for 5 minutes. Okay, so you'll be looking at your 5-minute chart. That's why we have it up there on the screen, because we'll be using that one for confirmation and retest of the VWAP. If we see a big red candle underneath the VWAP, that is a rejection candle, and it is an A+ setup as price goes down towards a liquidity target. So that's how we determine our A+ setup, and it's the same thing every day. You can replay this live stream, or just keep tuning in, and it won't change. This is our strategy. This is what we do, how we do it, day in, day out. This is how we produce consistent income. Well, this is how I produce consistent income. And it does compound, it grows. Let me expound on that a little bit. I started with one contract, and now the most amount of contracts I've leveraged is 100. Had some issues with the 100 getting filled. 75 contracts is a bit better in terms of getting it filled instantly. That's a part of the closeout process. So you want the contracts to get filled pretty quick. As you are in the profit, you want it to close. Okay, so I think that's about it for the pre-market, and I'm gonna tune out for a second, and for a little bit. Market opens in about 20 minutes. Grab some coffee and just look at the report a little bit more, make a couple notes, and I'll be back.